Horapollo is the supposed author of a treatise titled Hieroglyphica, Egyptian hieroglyphs, extant in a Greek translation by one Philippus, dating to about the 5th century. Horapollo is mentioned by the Suda as one of the last leaders of ancient Egyptian priesthood at a school in Menouthus near Alexandria, during the reign of Zeno. According to the Suda, Horapollo had to flee because he was accused of plotting a revolt against the Christians, and his temple to Isis and Osiris was destroyed. Horapollo was later captured and after torture converted to Christianity. Another, earlier, Horapollo alluded to by the Suda was a grammarian from Phambatus under Theodosius II. To this Horapollo the Hieroglyphica was attributed by most 16th-century editors, although there were more occult opinions, identifying Horapollo with Horus himself, or with a pharaoh. He wrote commentaries on Sophocles, Alcaeus of Mytilene and Homer, and a work on places consecrated to the gods. Photius, who calls him a dramatist as well as a grammarian, ascribes to him a history of the foundation and antiquities of Alexandria. Hieroglyphica is a text extant from the early medieval period ascribed to Horapollo, but it may be a pseudepigraph. The text of the Hieroglyphica consists of 2 books, containing a total of 189 explanations of Egyptian hieroglyphs. The books profess to be a translation from an Egyptian original into Greek by a certain Philippus, of whom nothing is known. The inferior Greek of the translation, and the character of the additions in the second book point to its being of late date. Some have even assigned it to the 11th century. The text was discovered in 1419 on the island of Andros, and was taken to Florence by Cristoforo Buondelmonte. By the end of the 15th century, the text became immensely popular among humanists, with the first printed edition of the text appearing in 1505, translated into Latin in 1517 by Filippo Fasanini, initiating a long sequence of editions and translations. For the 18th century, the book's authenticity was called into question, but modern Egyptology regards at least the first book as based on real knowledge of hieroglyphs, although confused, and with Baroque symbolism and theological speculation, and the book may well originate with the latest remnants of Egyptian priesthood of the 5th century, though a very large proportion of the statements seem absurd and cannot be accounted for by anything known in the latest and most fanciful usage. There is ample evidence in both books, in individual cases, that the tradition of the values of the hieroglyphic signs was not yet extinct in the days of their author. This approach of symbolic speculation about hieroglyphs was popular during Hellenism, whence the early humanists, down to Athanasius Kircher, inherited the preconception of the hieroglyphs as a magical, symbolic, ideographic script. In 1556, the Italian humanist Piero Valeriano Bolzani published a vast Hieroglyphica at Michael Isengrin's printing press in Bâle, which was originally planned as an exegesis of Horapollo's. It was dedicated to Cosimo I de' Medici. The second part of Book 2 treats animal symbolism and allegory, essentially derived from Aristotle, Aelian, Pliny and Artemidorus, and are probably an addition by the Greek translator. Additions by C. Leemans and at Corey with English translation and notes. See also G. Rathgeber in Ursch and Gruber's Allgemeine Enzyklopädie. H. Schaefer, Zeitschrift für Ägyptische Sprache p. 72. Select editions. Aldus Manutius, Venice 1505. Editio Princeps. George Boas, New York 1950, reprinted 1993, ISBN 0-691-00092-1. Rizzoli, Milan 1996, ISBN 88-17-16997-8.